Welcome. Thank you very much. Hello and welcome to Scorpio, to my channel. This is a 5-card tarot card overall energy reading for the time period between September 16th and September 30th, 2020. It is a general reading for the larger collective and is intended for informational purposes. The information may not resonate with everyone, and that's okay. Take what fits and let the rest go. To save time, I've already shuffled the cards and requested the universe guidance, and the cards selected were ejected or leaped out on their own during the shuffle. The 5 cards that exit during the shuffle for this overall energy reading are lined up here. The first card here represents your past influences that were significant within the last few months. In some cases, the issues may have resolved. In other cases, they still may be lingering. The second card here represents the current overall energy during this period, for this current time frame. The third card here represents the overall energy for the future overall energy of this time period. And the fourth card represents the current overall challenges for this time period. This does not mean that challenges are negative or will occur. It just simply is provided as information and to be aware of. And the fifth card here represents the overall energy for the outcomes for this period of this overall energy rating. So, what we have in our first card, here we have Scorpio, the Ten of Cups. So, for the overall collective of Scorpio during the past influences in the past few months, this card embodies a sense of happiness, a joy or emotional contentment that was particularly there in an early part of the last 3 months, in particularly your relationships. I'm not picking up that this was a career-oriented sort of relationship. It was more of an interpersonal relationship or a love interest, is what I'm picking up here as the greater energy. I'm picking up that you felt, Scorpio, there was an abundance of love and happiness in your life at the time, and I'm picking up that perhaps you might have been in between some sort of relationship, or ending a prior relationship when you met this new relationship. I'm picking up that for some Scorpios, you might have felt this was the love, you met somebody, a love of your life, and particularly since you might have not ever felt that you would find love again. Scorpio, when this card appears, particularly in your past influences, often, for many, you're surrounded by loved ones, or at least somebody that you cared for, and somebody that you felt that perhaps you had a powerful and deep connection with. I felt that at the times that you were together with this person, you felt there was an appreciation or support for one another in your moments, more on a one-on-one basis. I think you had aspirations that together you would reach your highest potential. And I think that although you might have had some other issues that you were dealing with in other relationships, or perhaps ending a relationship and struggling with that, this particular relationship that you found, I think you were hoping would be a sort of the happy family, and it might bring peace that you were looking for, and the kind of love that you were striving for. I think you were sort of used to fighting and causing, there was fights and tensions in your previous relationship. But I'm picking up that was more hopes and dreams. I'm picking up that I'm not really clear if it ended up being that way. I think that I'm picking up for some Scorpios, you wanted a strong bond, and something's disconnected here. I'm picking up. Typically, this card is positive for romantic relationships, and indicates that either there was a new or hopeful or blissful relationship starting that Scorpio you felt could be a long-term commitment, and sort of starting anew. Perhaps it might have even felt that you found a soulmate of some sort with this person. That there were some things that you had a connection with, yeah. However, when this card pops up, it typically is signifying that you were feeling a sense of wholeness and completion, and that there were alignment in your relationships. At times you might have felt sort of idyllic state of peace or harmony. However, I'm picking up that for some Scorpios, this connection that you thought was a deep connection, sort of following your heart and trusting your intuition, something went awry. I'm picking up here. Whatever, I'm not picking up how whatever the. I'm not picking up what this relationship, where it went. I'm just picking up that this in your past influences, you were trying to trust your heart and trying to trust your intuition, and I'm picking up that you were hoping it would lead to opportunities, and you were letting your feelings and emotions guide you. And at times you felt that it was fantastic and perhaps relief. It feels like it got off to a very sort of odd beginning or rough beginning, but it seems like once you sort of let go of one relationship or an ideal relationship, and this relationship here, once you were able to let that go, your heart was moving towards this new relationship. This card, usually was saying to you, Scorpio, to provide your inner guidance, and that will lead the way. It advises you, Scorpio, to sort of look at your personal values, and your own truths, and sort of take that path that that was important for you at the time. So the overall energy was that you found a relationship that you felt was that wholeness and completion, but something's not missing here. I'm not getting the full picture with this relationship, but that seems to be what the overall energy feeling was for you, Scorpio, and your past influences. In our present, we have the Seven of Cups. Well, Scorpio, the Seven of Cups here represents new opportunities, choices, and at times illusion. When the Seven of Cups appears in this reading for you in your present, it's usually indicating, Scorpio, that you have many options and opportunities for which you could choose. But it's also advising you to be careful of your choices. For Scorpio, I'm picking up that many of you are sort of prone to an illusion and unrealistic ideals, and this perhaps could be in relationships, which seems to be related to this relationship that's here in your past influences. For many Scorpios, this card here in this current time period is representing the opportunity, perhaps promises of more money. It could be more fame, whether it doesn't have to be famous, but in more like your notoriety, whether it's on a committee or church group, at work, a volunteer thing, anything, something that's you're sort of being that you're recognized for, you're standing out for, whether it's formal or informal. And it's sort of a powerful feeling that intrigues you, Scorpio. Uh, but this card also indicates that if it's already occurred to you, or it's on the verge of occurring, it's encouraging you to look deeper into what is on the table, what is being offered. For Scorpios, you may realize it's not everything it's cracked up to be. Keep in mind, Scorpio, this card is also saying that watch your ego. We know, Scorpio, an ego can pull you into a specific direction, and often, if you don't have all the information, Scorpio, it could kind of pull you into what we would call the dark side of Scorpio, which is you go off to attack or make assumptions, strain relationships, can make it more difficult, particularly those that are closest to you. So this card here is basically saying don't jump to conclusions. I'm picking up that it's important, for Scorpios, that you check in with your higher self first. Scorpio, you are very intuitive, but you have to make sure that if you're intuitive, that you are intuitive with a clean mind and a clean spirit and a clean heart. If your judgment and your intuition is overshadowed by, for some Scorpios, it could be substances, any sort of substance, or something that's can skew your judgment. That it can make problems more difficult for you, and it could also make situations that are before you, more complicated than they really are, at least in your mind. And this could lead to problems and challenges. So again, I'm picking up that it's important to check with your higher self first, and also have I'm picking up just have a clean spirit and mind, which it's indicating don't have too much alcohol, don't have anything of a substance that could skew your judgment. That's just the theme I'm getting here. I'm picking up that during this time, it's important to evaluate those options. Again, dig below the surface to discover what's involved in each choice and each decision that you may have. And this may include a choice of a relationship, which I sort of appeals to here. This one that got off on a good start. I'm missing something. There's like a void here. Something's questionable here, but I'm not quite sure what it is. Often the Seven of Cups can be a sign of wishful thinking and projecting into the future about what you would like to create. And perhaps in this relationship, this is the overall energy again for the overall collective of Scorpios. It may not again resonate with every Scorpio, but the theme of this card is coming out that there was a lot of projection going on here, and not necessarily projection that was positive. And this projection, appears to be of negative in nature, and is actually sort of splitting or separating individuals, and or most particularly you from this person that you were adoring. So, if you're familiar, Scorpio, with the laws of attraction, if you are thinking negativity, if you're thinking the worst will happen, if you're thinking distrust, if you're thinking someone's not honest with you, if you're thinking someone's cheating on you, if you think someone's doing something behind your back, if you think negative, the laws of attraction and sort of the universe is that you will attract those sort of behaviors. And I'm picking up that for some Scorpios, the overall energy was that's sort of a negative. There's a negativity going on right now, particularly in a interpersonal relationship, that's expanding. And I'm picking up that it's a lot. I'm picking it I'm picking up that for many Scorpios, this sort of overall negative energy is coming from within you and being projected onto those around you, including this relationship, which appears to be making things worse. I'm picking up that. I'm not picking up why. I'm not getting any sort of reason why this is occurring, though. Um, I'm picking up, though, for Scorpio, if you're willing to put in hard work and sort of take a step back and, not necessarily sort of think so negatively or assume there's always something negative going on, that you will see this whole situation in a different light. But right now, it just appears to me in this card that, for some Scorpio, you're just on this path of negativity, and that's you're attracting a negativity, and thus nothing seems to be going the way that you ideally thought it was going to be here in your past. This card here also is picking up the energy that sometimes, Scorpio, sometimes you might find that your ideas or thoughts or wishful thinking or plans or communication may not always be grounded in reality. In your mind, your ideas or your plans might sound fabulous, and you're using your imagination, and in your head you may think everything is just planned accordingly. But when it comes to communication and implementing them and sharing them with those that, if they involve other people, you're not very good about doing that. You're assuming that people can be mind readers, is what I'm picking up, and thus the message that's going on in your head, which may be good, is often coming out the opposite, which is actually confusing other people and not being clear, which then turns around and frustrates you. So there just seems to be this sort of around and around communication pattern of, in your head, everything is, you mean good and you want the good, but the way you're communicating it and the way your behavior is communicating it is sending the opposite message to those that you're trying to get the message to. Thus, their reactions are negative because the message is coming across negative, and then when they don't react the way you were expecting, then that makes you frustrated and sort of negative. And so it's just this revolving negativity that is just exacerbating these interpersonal relationships that some Scorpios are involved in, is an overall energy here. It's interesting. The Seven of Cups here, Scorpio, is sort of the sign of this shiny object in the window, or the shiny object syndrome, where many Scorpios, you're finding the next big thing, and either the next big relationship, the next big fad, the next big the next big person to hang out with, or the next someone presents something, and your energy goes to that, and you sort of forget. You're sort of all over the place is what for some Scorpios I'm sort of picking up, and that's making it very difficult for you to sort of stay grounded, and you're also not presenting yourself to those around you, or at least closest to you. You seem very scattered. But again, it's because something. It's either that shiny object syndrome where something's got your attention and you zoom over there. It's unknown whether that is because it's an avoidance of this sort of pain, or that this relationship isn't going the way you thought about it. So it sounds like this sort of shiny object syndrome is sort of a way to passively sort of deal with it by ignoring it. But most of those things that you seek, or those shiny things that's taking your attention away from the issues, they rarely fail to come up with any sort of opportunities in the end, which is just sort of making things worse for you. I'm picking up that from these Scorpios, there's that there's a constant sort of idea phase or opportunity phase, or that, again, this wishful thinking phase, that isn't coming, isn't coming, alive here for you. And so what this card here, it says, is that if this is applying to you, Scorpio, again, currently now is the time to sit down and focus on one thing that may move you closer to the primary goal that you're trying to achieve. This card here, Scorpio, is basically saying resist the temptation to get sidetracked. And I'm picking up that many Scorpios, are sort of choosing, whether they intentionally or non intentionally are doing it, or getting sidetracked from what they're really wanting to focus on, or an escape from. So if need, practice focusing on one thing that's the most important, and not get sidetracked by all these other things. We know, Scorpio, that you are a social person, and some of these other social activities that you may be involved in may not really be that important to you right now, and could be causing more headaches for you. So it's about what are the choices that you want to make. And right now it just seems, whether it's a choice or not, is just you're very, it's all over the place. That's kind of what I'm picking up here. Something's just all over the place. So right now, Scorpio, this card here in your current present is inviting you to move out of sort of this, getting sidetracked phase, and chasing other sort of shiny objects, is what's showing me here. Evaluate pros and cons. Sit down and write things out instead of having them go around in your head. You may have too many things in your head that it's almost impossible to think of. So this sort of escaping and going off to things that get you sidetracked, it may seem more appealing to you right now. But I think deep down you're feeling sort of an emptiness, or I don't know. I think I think for some Scorpios, you're feeling this isn't working for you, but you're not doing anything about it. So this card is inviting you to find your purpose and what your highest good is, because I'm feeling that for some Scorpios, currently you're feeling very paralyzed about what options are available to you. And our third card is our future overall energy. Here we have the Ace of Pentacles. Now, the Ace of Pentacles, like all the other aces in the tarot, they represent new beginnings. It's new opportunities and a potential. So for Scorpios, this challenges, this idealistic relationship now is faced with sort of an avoidance or challenges, or you're not facing the issues, or whatever is reached sort of that paralyzed right here. This card, as your future presence, is telling me that it's not an all-in dead-end deal for you. There is hope here. The Ace is a hope card. It is a new beginnings, and when it shows up as in the Pentacles as the Ace of Pentacles, this is a new beginnings that correlate with material world, with your finances, with your wealth, with your career, physical health, and it's a manifestation of whatever your goals are. So again, if you are aware of and follows the thoughts of the laws of attraction, again, if you want to get away from negativity, stop thinking negative things, and stop thinking that everything is negative, or everyone's distrustful, or everyone's bad, or everyone's out to get you, or everyone's only, you can't trust anybody but yourself, or someone's cheating on you, whatever. Get rid of that train wreck that's going on here, because if you put on a new beginning here and you start thinking in the positive, and think things positive and look for positive, you're going to attract the positive, and that's going to come out in your relationships. For some Scorpios, you may receive a new job offer, or you could expect a an unsuspected sum of money that's coming in from all sort of sources, and particularly we know with the COVID-19 going on, finances are difficult for a lot of people, or on the scary side for many people because of employment and other sort of issues. So perhaps some Scorpios are going to be receiving a lump sum if you haven't already received it, and that's going to be sort of a nice thing. This card here will say to you, Scorpios, that if you do receive a lump sum of any amount, that to be careful with it and don't splurge it, because it's coming to you for a reason, and it's not meant to be wasted. That's the key issue here for you. I'm picking up here that this new beginnings is also sort of a new opportunity for you to turn things around. Now, I'm not picking up this new beginning may be with this same person here. That's not coming through with me right this minute, or at least the card isn't saying that. So I'm just saying there could be a new love relationship too. No matter what's coming up here, the Ace of Pentacles, sort of heralds this sense of prosperity and abundance from the material and financial areas of your life. Undoubtedly, it's going to come for many Scorpios as a welcome invitation, but it's not a free ride, Scorpio. As with all aces in the tarot cards, this card in the Pentacles, the Ace in the Pentacles, illustrates the possibility of a new endeavor, or a new love interest, or a new beginning, or new something. However, or a turnover in how you think of things. But it does not guarantee its manifestations of success, because that piece is up to you. So this is an opportunity future, but you hold the key, Scorpio. The Ace of Pentacles, see this as your green light, Scorpio. It marks initial stages of sort of manifesting your goals, and assures you that you can truly achieve whatever you set your mind out to do, Scorpio. You are a hard worker. You are determined. You can use your intuition to its good, but what I'm feeling for some Scorpios, particularly here, there's that dark side of Scorpio is sort of taking over for many Scorpios, and it's sort of skewing everything that's around you. And we know, Scorpio, that you can have that sort of dark side, and this new beginning for those Scorpios who are sort of entrapped by this dark side here of your sign is, you have an opportunity to get out of that dark side, but it is going to be dependent on you and how you think. And if you turn that thinking around, Scorpio, to the more positive, and see things more positive, and don't see people as, see people as being helpful to you, and appreciate those people, and appreciate a relationship, and just a more of appreciation and more of a positive outlook, it will change everything for you, Scorpio. It will change everything for you. This is your green light to change everything, but it is up to you. And you, Scorpio, have to set your mind to do so. You can consider this sort of, your oyster, and through careful planning and determined effort, Scorpio, you can manifest goals and desires, even improving your love life. Your ideas are there, and spinning around in your head, waiting to turn into something tangible, Scorpio. But this, for me, again, I'm picking up the overall energy for Scorpio is this sort of dark Scorpio energy that's ruling you right now, or has been ruling you. So this card encourages you, Scorpio, to map out what you want to achieve and what your ambitions are, to create targeted plans and get those actions underway. For some Scorpios, if you've fallen under some sort of addiction, this is your chance to get a hold of that addiction. I'm not picking up that if there are any type of addiction, whether it's food, drug, alcohol, gambling, any sort of addiction that takes you away from what you're working on, a codependency, anything that sort of something's not serving you well right now, Scorpio. This is what I'm picking up. There's something that is blocking, that you're focusing on, that here is blocking you, and this card here is saying you need to find out what that is, and you know what that is, and you need to change it. And that's setting your mind and sort of that manifesting, which is thinking positive and believing in positive and wanting things to be positive. That's the key here that I'm finding in order to break this cycle for some Scorpios. It's about keeping your eyes open for chances to manifest your goals and realize your inner sort of potential. And the key here is your inner potential. We know, Scorpio, you like to be by yourself sometimes, and sometimes Scorpios, you feel that you know everything and you don't need anybody, and oftentimes, whether you intended it or not, you can put people off, to be quite honest with you. You have a brutal honesty, and that is wonderful in many ways. However, sometimes your brutal honesty can turn people away. It's not the honesty, it's the message of how you send the message that turns people away, and then this causes your challenges, particularly if it's a significant relationship that you're interested in. In other words, your message is getting lost. This Ace of Pentacles also symbolizes not just wealth, but your bank account. So if you've been sort of having a problem with if the sum of money that may be coming in for some Scorpios is going to be very helpful. This card also is telling me in sort of your immediate future here that you may discover again a new source of income, or that financial gift or windfall is sort of the theme here for some. For some Scorpios, you have to create an opportunity to create that broader sense of, again, that inner self, to find that happiness and find fulfillment, potential, and love, which you are desperately seeking for some. This Ace in the Pentacles signifies an abundance in all areas of your life. You must open your eyes, Scorpio, in order to find it and to enjoy it. Feel this positivity of feeling you are blessed, and to understand that you're blessed and that you are deserving of everything that comes your way. However, don't stomp out everybody who's there to help you. That's something that I'm picking up here. You do need other people. And you've sort of been pushing people away here, and this is changing that. This is telling you to change that. Feel blessed and deserve that everything comes your way. If you want to amplify this feeling of prosperity, live by the law of attraction and send your positive energy to the intent of the universe, and the universe will respond. You have to believe, and you have to give it a chance, because you have a new opening here. So, a new beginning. Scorpio. In our fourth card, we have our overall energy for challenges that are in this period. And here you have the Ten of Wands in reverse. It is in the reverse, though. So, with the Ten of Wands showing in reverse here, Scorpio, this is often a sign that you're trying to do too much by yourself. Kind of ties in here. You're pushing people away. So, in your effort to be everything to everyone, you have found yourself sort of struggling under the weight of all, or your perception that you're struggling, and sinking deeper. Whatever it is that you're doing, you're either spreading yourself too thin, and some things may not necessarily be positive that you're doing. It's a lot of busy work that's spreading yourself too thin, which is then affecting everything else around you, which may be affecting your closest relationship. This card is saying here, you love to be social, but you don't have to be social and please everybody when you're doing something. So, don't think that everybody needs to spend 2 hours with you, and that's taking up your time. You dedicate that. If it's 10 minutes, you make quality 10 minutes, Scorpio. You control that, and not the people around you. But because you're spreading yourself so thin, wherever you're at, it's hurting everything else around you right now. Because it will make you late for other things, or it makes you late for engagements or appointments or whatever else, because it becomes that rippling effect, and this is causing a lot of external issues for you. And I just feel that you've been sort of ignoring it, and that's the challenge here. So be firm in saying no to things that you can't take on, or if someone says stay and have a chat with me longer, be polite and just say you have set the stage up when you go to a social gathering, and say, listen, I have 15 minutes, I have 30 minutes, I need to go. Set it up. People will respond to that. But if you just sort of lag and hang on, which then delays you going someplace else or meeting somebody else or meeting your loved one, it's going to make your problems. Those are your challenge. Those are significant challenges here, is what I pick up here. So it's imperative here, Scorpio, that you put self-care and sort of personal well-being first. And again, if you're totally by yourself and you're independent of yourself, then yeah, staying as long as you want at other people's socials or meetings or luncheons, wherever else, is great. However, if you've promised that you will be someplace after that and then you don't show up, that's the problem. So that's what you have to be aware of. It's not you just being by yourself in not a relationship. It's if you have nothing else to do that day, you can spend all day with somebody. But if you've made plans and other people are counting on you, and then you're always late to those plans or not getting there or not showing up, that's your challenge, and that's going to get the best of you, and it's spreading you too thin. And I'm picking up that you're going to burn yourself out and be of help to no one. And again, your challenge here, Scorpio, is there are people who are supporting you or trying to support you, and if this is affecting them, you're burning your bridges, and you're going to burn your support bridges, because I'm picking up that for some Scorpios, this is a pattern that is wearing thin on everything around you and everyone around you. And this is sort of saying, open up and open your eyes and look at what's important, that you're drowning here. And it's kind of like the idea of being on the plane when the sign comes on and says, put on your own oxygen mask first and before helping others. You have to be aware of your responsibilities and your accountabilities first. So you have to set boundaries when you are doing social activities or your work or whatever else, or if you have people who are waiting in line to see you that are expecting to see you, including your love relationship. If you don't do this challenge here, it's going to continue to have a severe impact. Similarly, the Ten of Wands in reverse suggests that you're carrying a heavy weight on your shoulders. You are keeping this private. Usually you're not sharing this with anybody, and you're unwilling to share your burdens with other Scorpios. You like to have that privacy. However, this secrecy or this privacy that you're hanging on to is actually you're grappling with sort of a lot of drama here, and for some, something may have come up that you're carrying sort of an emotional trauma, or carrying some sort of secret that you're dealing with, and it may be surfacing as something I'm picking up that's an inner sort of turmoil, something that's come up about yourself that you're not really dealing with, and whatever this inner turmoil is, this sort of thing that about is affecting this relationship. It's a truth that's not coming forward, is what I'm picking up here. So, in effect, Scorpio, you're pushing other people around who can help you and who have been helping you. And when you're pushing them away, you're losing your relief. So, you got to find it. You've got to look at this challenge and have a different perspective. And I think this is sort of this feeling that's related to this dark side of Scorpio that's getting a little too much out of control. You have to let go a little bit. You have to let go a little bit and be more trusting and show your softer side and interact with people more softer and allow people to make mistakes. And we know, Scorpio, that's a big thing for you, but people are people, and even you make mistakes, even though, Scorpio, you don't like to admit it, but you make mistakes. So you have to not be so judgmental on others around you, especially those closest to you, because this is a challenge that I feel is facing many Scorpios right now. The reverse Ten of Wands shows, Scorpio, that you're holding on to some burden when you do not need to. So if you're feeling weighed down by your present circumstances or whatever your situation is, this is encouraging to look at ways to help you lighten that load. Talk to people. Don't be so secretive. Sometimes just talking about it you'll find your own answers. But if you're holding it inside and not trusting anybody, this is making it more confusing for you, Scorpio. You might be worrying about matters that do not concern you or cannot be changed, or you're making matters worse than what they really are. That's saying you're making a mountain out of a molehill, and you're again at those assumptions. And I think this is really tied to these relationships here, that somehow you're making assumptions and making things worse than what they are, and it's just magnifying out of control. This card is basically saying, do not become a martyr, and think that you can do it all. On the positive side, though, Scorpio, if you're going through these challenges right this time, the Ten of Wands in reverse assures you that this time will pass. It's not a long-term issue. This is something that will change, but you have to work at it. You do have to do some work here. It's not going to do it on its own. And again, it's sort of that laws of attraction. Be positive and put it out to the universe. For some Scorpios, you're trying to. I get it. Okay. Some Scorpios I'm picking up are trying to identify those activities that don't bring you value right now. Perhaps they were important to you in your past, but this is your opportunity to sort of reassess things that don't mean to you or serve you purpose. This is an important card, particularly if you're hanging on to past hurts, or you've been hurt in the past, or you've had some sort of past trauma and you're hanging on to guilt that's been sort of rising, and perhaps the situation has made it worse during this time. This card, basically, if you look at the laws of attraction in the universe, is to release those hurts. And it's usually just something you say to yourself, and you don't have to go through lots of work, but it just basically, ask forgiveness and release any hurts that have occurred in the past and get for a fresh start. Just doing that can do wonders for you. Just release whatever's not working for you. And that it's a purging process that you will receive and see a humongous amount of relief, Scorpio. It also not only is more in the sort of the mental sort of clutter that need to release, but it could be cleaning out closets, clothing, selling furniture, declutter, simplify your life. This is about simplifying your life and looking at what really matters, and appreciation and truly appreciating what you have, and not looking at what you don't have. For Scorpios, you'll benefit, better from that sort of organization and mental organization, and prioritizing of what's important to you. And with that sort of release, you'll see the light. Things will get better for you. And your final card is the outcomes, and here you have the Hierophant. So this card is in the reverse. So the Hierophant, in its most positive form, the reversed Hierophant reminds you, Scorpio, that you are your own teacher. All the wisdom, Scorpio, that you seek comes from within. And you, Scorpio, know that from some external source of power, you have that. You, Scorpio, are being guided, to sort of follow your own path and adopt your own spiritual sort of belief systems. And spiritual is not necessarily religion; it's whatever is spiritual to you. But it's saying to have that positive outcome, you need to have a map, and you need to understand where you're going, and you can't do it blindly, and you can't do it haphazardly, because it's making you scattered. So for you, Scorpio, this may feel unsettling at first as you make your own way, but over time, you'll learn to trust yourself. And I think this is about trusting. Usually, perhaps I'm picking up here that the darker side of Scorpio is, for many, maybe this period that's causing some anguish. But if you get on the better side, the brighter side of Scorpio, and sort of get control of your darker side, and put things in a better perspective, that you'll be able to tap into the better trusting of yourself and the more trusting of others. Tap into your sort of inner knowledge, and again, your intuition, but in a positive way. So yeah, but go deep. That is what I'm saying. This is about a time for change here, because something needs to change for you, and you're recognizing it. with the reverse here in this card, it's saying that you no longer need those external approval to succeed. However, you can't go it alone, and you can't go it alone by tearing other people down. That's what I'm picking up here. You don't have to follow a given path, but if you follow the intuition that you're seeing a light that's in a positive and doing things that are positive for you, that have a positive aspect and a positive rippling effect, you will see the change. And that's where it comes in, that you don't have to follow sort of any sort of convention, but you can't step on others along the way, and you can't mistrust others along the way, and all that other sort of stuff. Those are things you have to let go, Scorpio. So this is about giving yourself permission to trust your inner guidance system, and as you create sort of that own unique path for positivity. The Hierophant reverse here is about challenging the status quo. You'll see alternative ways of sort of viewing your world and your issues, and now's the time to sort of test those ideas and test those concepts. Find your truth. You don't have to accept rigid structures, the tradition, or the dogma that's surrounding you. It's about seeking out opportunities, to reclaim your positive personal power. And you are a teacher, Scorpio, so people rely on you, people look up to you, and if the dark Scorpio has been turning people away, and you're feeling sort of a negativity, this is your opportunity to sort of reclaim that inner personal power, that will restrict you. Don't let the dark side of Scorpio restrict you. This is about being unconstrained and finding that freedom and flexibility and having fun and and enjoying what you're doing and enjoying the people that are around you is all key important. This card reverse encourages Scorpios to examine the way you're doing things. Again, I'm picking up, if things are negative for you and everything's around you, then that's just the time to change that. For some Scorpios, if everything's working out positive for you, awesome. Keep doing what you're doing. But you need to see changes, and you need to follow through. Again, see this, the reverse Hierophant is kind of like that rebellious teenager who's beginning to question society and sort of takes on, wants a new point of view. But this is meaning in a positive way and in a productive way, and that's the difference between sort of the darker side of way that hasn't been serving you here. So be careful to not go too rebellious. And this card is also saying, do not take part in anything that's anti-institutional or against the law, or do things that is that's verges on something that could be illegal, because again, you don't want conflict with authority, and you don't want issues with the law. So this is also about rebellious in a positive way, not in a negative way that will get you in trouble, Scorpio. And this is for Scorpios who probably this may resonate with you. So I'm just picking up that I need to sort of say that is, we're talking a positive light and a positive sort of rebellion that is a positive thing for you. So this card wants to be clear about that. So Scorpio, interesting. Very interesting here. I hope, Scorpio, that I want to thank you so much for watching this video. If you would like to support the channel, the YouTube algorithms depend on your support by clicking on the big three. And they are: like the video, please, click on the subscribe to my channel, please, and click on the notification button, please. That will help me immensely, and I would appreciate that. Feel free to leave a comment if you felt that any part of this reading was applicable to you. And again, if in none of it or parts of it did not resonate with you, please, it's okay, let it go. And I thank you, and we will see you in October. So thank you, Scorpio, and have a good one.